Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for full moon in Virgo, and this one is very good and productive for all of us who want to really do some work with ourselves. And it's very efficient energy, very pragmatic energy, because it's Virgo. It's about getting down to work, doing the work we have to do, like not being afraid of doing the work, not being afraid of responsibilities and obligations and duties. This is about getting things done and doing a lot of tasks, being responsible, getting up early, doing the work that we have to do, being in many places, being of service, taking care of ourselves, taking care of others, being there for others. But of course, this can go in many different ways, and we'll discuss these themes because we don't have only Virgo energy, we have Pisces, which is opposite from Virgo, and opposites are actually complementary. They fulfill each other. Opposites complete each other. Opposites help each other grow. Without opposites, we cannot have a whole. And Virgo is about details, and it's about pieces of the puzzle, but it's also about the wholeness, about understanding that each piece is also whole. Just as us human beings, we are part of something bigger, but we ourselves are also whole, and we don't need anything outside of ourselves to make us whole. And there is this lesson behind this full moon that is teaching us about that wholeness. And each full moon is a time when we feel things on a much deeper level. This is very heightened energy. It's increased intensity. It's increased tests and challenges. Full moons are times of dramatic endings and beginnings, and each full moon there is another layer of something coming to light. And during this time, Virgo themes are coming to light, as well as Piscean themes are coming to light. So something that has been hidden, avoided, neglected, ignored, denied, procrastinated, delayed is coming to light. Something that we have to confront, something that we have to face, something we have to look at. So it may be something that is uncomfortable. This energy is pushing us to do what feels uncomfortable, and we could be pushed to fight for ourselves or others, and because of vulnerability that we feel. This is about accepting what hurts and having the courage to be vulnerable, because it really takes courage to be vulnerable. Sometimes we hide, not sometimes, but very often we hide this vulnerability because we think this is sign of weakness. And then we put those cold masks. That this Virgo archetype Virgo part in us can make us feel and behave in this way. It can make us, have that faceless expression where like everything is fine outside, but inside we are burning. Inside there is chaos and mess happening. Inside we are imploding, but on the outside we seem like we are, uninterested, detached, completely, indifferent. But what's on the inside is completely different. So we may feel this balance between the external and internal state of being, between what we express and what we truly feel inside of us. And with the Virgo full moon, we are asked to tend to the body. And with the sun in Pisces, we are asked to tend to the spirit. So there is this very strong, intimate connection between the body and the spirit. And our intuition cannot exist without the body it takes residence in. And our psychic power, our empathy, our emotions cannot properly manifest, or be felt with full intensity without a connection to our physical form. So we need both. We cannot exclude something. We cannot leave the body behind. We cannot deny the spirit. We cannot deny the subtle realms, and we cannot escape this reality. So this is, a gentle reminder to acknowledge the reality of our physical life and, answer some questions about how to better support it and how to find love for ourselves in this whole process. This is invitation to root deeply into the ocean of pain we have stored away in our unconscious. So it's really getting to know the depths of what hurts us. And we were able during these last couple of months to sink to the bottom of that sadness, that karmic pain and grief, and to reach those depths. And in that rich darkness, we were given tools. And now this energy is testing us how we're using those tools. What are we doing with those tools? And we are given tools to be aware, to be conscious, and we were shown maps to the center of our karmic hearts, and we know how it works. So the question is how we use those tools. What do we do with our mental powers, with our physical powers, with our abilities and capacities? What do we do with our free time? What do we do with our gifts and talents? Are we, actively engaging with our wounds rather than melting into them? And this energy is a reminder that we all need a different medicine, and it's a lot about healing. It's about health, healing, and well-being. It's about our wellness. It's about our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. And this is the energy of Virgo, the Virgin, Virgo, the Maiden, Virgo, the shamanic energy, Virgo, the witch, Virgo, the priestess, and this Vestal Virgo, who often appears to us as a nurse and midwife and social worker, can help us on a path of healing. And especially because there is this strong polarity between Pisces and Virgo, and together these two archetypes create a whole that we need in order to birth ourselves and to liberate ourselves. And we are getting in tune with body changes. So not only with our body changes, but with material changes, with changes of this planet Earth. And we are learning to be adaptable. This is opportunity to slow down and to feel centered, to learn to discern. Virgo is about this discerning. So what do I need to keep and what do I need to release? We have to choose carefully and choose wisely, sorting the wheat from the chaff. We have to have that discerning moment. We cannot take it all in and we cannot take it all out. Some things are valuable, some things are not valuable anymore. And this is a lot about learning how to use what is given to us through nature, what is natural for us. Everything that exists on this planet Earth is for us to heal and to evolve. And Virgo is also a lot about self-development. It's about improving ourselves. It's about bettering ourselves. It's about making ourselves better bit by bit, step by step, doing small things, details, it's about herbs and lotions and medicines and alternative healing, holistic healing, all these kinds of things that put us back into our body awareness and into the earthly awareness. Wonderful opportunity for healing. Tune into these vibrations. This is opportunity to get a boost, natural boost, and to receive the immune system, to improve our immune system through connecting with our bodies and with earth, with nature. And it's not only about physical improvement, it's not only about our diet, physical, but also about our mental diet. We have to cleanse ourselves not only physically but mentally and emotionally. So what kind of diet are we using mentally, emotionally, and physically? What are we cultivating in our mental garden? What is our mental garden like? Are we the gardeners of our mental garden, or are there some other gardeners there? Is there a lot of work to be done? And are we neglecting our mental garden? Is it peace, kindness, and patience that we are cultivating, or is it something else? we have to keep refining our life all the time. We start with one layer of dust, and we find that there is another layer and another layer and another layer, like onions, and we are dusting out that, our physical system and our mind several times a day. This needs to be repeated. Virgo, 6th house, is about habits and routines. It's about repetitive actions, repetitive mechanisms, something that we do over and over again. So the question is, what are those things that we are doing over and over again? Are they exhausting, draining us? Are they intoxicating us, or are they detoxing us and healing us and making us feel better? So what kind of habits and routines are we practicing in our everyday life? What is our lifestyle like? What kind of life do we live? And this is also about learning about spiritual practices. Pisces is a lot about spiritual practice, and together Pisces and Virgo energies are meditation practice, because Pisces is meditation and Virgo is practice. So we need some kind of spiritual practice, any kind of spiritual practice, and the balance between doing and being, doing Virgo, being Pisces. And it's very good to do anything that brings us in the state of connectedness with Mother Nature. And it's a lot about taking care of the details, but it's not about being too picky. It's about being picky but not too much, but we have to be in some cases, like when we are choosing fruits. We won't take just any fruits for us. We will choose the ones that are good for us. And that's what we have to do in our everyday life. We have to pick and choose things that are good for us, that look good for ourselves, that look healthy, and that we feel intuitively are good for us. And this is a reminder, this full moon in Virgo is a great reminder for us to learn to sing while we work, to whistle while we work, to feel that whatever we're doing, if we are, having a broom in our hands, to feel that, to feel love between us and this broom, and to feel love between us and anything that we are using as a tool for doing any kind of practical work that we are doing. Whistle while working, sing while working, create that divine connection with what is practical. And, we can bring upliftment and cheerfulness into all tasks that we are doing, little tasks, little things that we do. Are we paying attention to those little things, to those little tasks? And we can really reset our system now through kindness. Kindness is what is needed. Compassion is what is needed. Empathy is what is needed. Forgiveness is what is needed. All these qualities of Pisces that need to be embodied through Virgo archetype, through something practical, actually doing the work, actually being compassionate instead of only feeling and being, actually doing the thing. And in order to live a quality life, we need to have quality resources, of course. So we need to be healthy, we need to improve our well-being, and this is a lot about self-development. But it's also about learning that oppositions are not at war, because we may feel these strong push and pull energies because of the polarity of the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are in opposition. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo, and this is the event known as the full moon. Whenever we have the sun and the moon in the opposition, that is the full moon. And oppositions are, not at war. They are helping each other but they are one and the same thing manifested in different parts, and Virgo part of us deals with those different parts. But Pisces talks about oneness, and everything is in unity, everything is one. But Virgo, the opposition of Pisces, cuts things into pieces, and it creates many different aspects of that oneness. But so we have we have to experience both of these things, and we may have a need to say, like, this is mine, this belongs to me, this is my money, my finances, my relationships, but nothing is really mine, nothing belongs to anyone. And we are split in all kinds of emotions, but that is all actually one emotion that is manifested in many different ways. Every emotion can be transformed into another emotion. It is just a different degree of it. Just like the water, it can be cold, it can be hot, it can be all kinds of things in between. And the same is with emotions. We can quickly go through anger, sadness, pain, joy, pleasure, laughter. All these kinds of things are one and the same thing, but on a different degrees. And all this reality is us, manifested in many different ways through individuality. And as I said, hot and cold, not opposites. Love and hate, not opposites. Light and dark, not opposites. There is lack of hot, there is lack of love, there is lack of light, and it's expressed like they're opposites. And now we are faced with these oppositions, and we are reminded through Pisces energy. We have the Sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces, very, very powerful Piscean energies. And it's all about healing. Virgo and Pisces, all about healing. And during this journey of healing, we are going to be confronted with things like guilt and shame, and feeling ashamed, feeling betrayed, feeling humiliated. These are Virgo and Pisces, also lower expressions, but we need them. They are all purposeful. They all are purposeful. These are all qualities, and it's about how we use them. And we may easily fall into a victim mentality as well, or we may have a tendency to sacrifice too much for somebody or for some higher cause. So that's why we have to set some clear boundaries, set some healthy boundaries. We have Saturn in Pisces. Saturn helps us create those boundaries, and this full moon in Virgo is also helping us to ground ourselves, to feel good in our bodies, to come back into our bodies if we have gone too far away from our bodies. If we are too much into those spiritual realms that we don't really understand, and where we think that we have to detach from the body, or where we think that we have to have it all perfectly aligned with everything. Virgo, perfectionism, and Pisces, anxiety. So we can oscillate between this need for perfectionism and anxiety attacks, panic attacks. We may feel these things closely, and then a need to escape all of that. Escapism, Pisces, escapism is into addictions, avoidance, and just running away, trying to numb ourselves, swallowing pills. But instead of swallowing pills, I always say, let's try to swallow that pain. Let's try to digest it. Digestion, Virgo. We have to digest it and feel it in our guts. And, we are what we eat, not only physically, not only food, physical food, everything, all impressions that we take in is what creates us. And avoiding, we may have a need to avoid being here in this reality, in this body, and seeing body as impure, separating spirit and matter, falling into delusions and illusions and confusions. And this is all the complexity and possible dangers that we may be sucked into through these polarities of Virgo Pisces. But this is very necessary part of the journey as well, because it reminds us of what still needs to be cleared, cleansed, healed, purified, purged, what needs to be detoxified, what needs to go through that process of detoxification, what needs to be digested. And it's not time to run away and hide, it's not time to escape, it's not time to avoid, it's not time to swallow any pills, it's not time to run into any other kinds of medicaments or substances that make us unconscious. But it's about, sobering moments that make us present and aware, doing the job that we have to do in order to heal and to feel ourselves. This is a lot about, managing our time. Time management. It's about tasks, plans, goals, routines, habits, and in this process we will see new emotional sequences created and recreated, and we are going to see what is wasting our time and where are we wasting our time, and where are we wasting our energy and our resources, and therefore we are creating new routines and new habits, getting rid of addictions and dedicating to our health. There is need for deep resolution, but we may not get there yet because we have some work to do before that, some healing work. So we have to focus on small things, focus on details, focus on what we can do right now. We don't have to think about, big goals, big dreams, big life changes. Just focus on little things that we can do today, that we can do right now, and do them to improve our health, to improve our quality of life, to improve our lifestyle, to improve our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Little changes, small changes, not big ones, little ones that cause huge ones. Little change creates the big change, and this is the message of this full moon. So attention to detail, and we are going to experience revitalization through this, so we may see details that we haven't seen before. Full moon illuminates something that has been hidden before or impossible to acknowledge. So we may see some small things that we haven't noticed before. And this is also about self-realization, realization about others, small revelations, bunch of little revelations within ourselves that creates that put those little pieces into the big picture, into feeling the wholeness of everything. And we can improve health right now. It's an ideal time for detox, for fasting, for any kind of purging and purification, for cleaning ourselves, for cleansing ourselves, for healing ourselves on all levels. All earth energies are about revitalizing our body, our health, our situation. And, this can go from mundane things to some very high level spiritual things, but in reality, in its essence, everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, and there is no separation between matter and spirit. There is really, in its essence, no separation. Everything comes from that oneness. But we are here, we are experiencing duality, and we are learning through those polarities and oppositions. And we may experience many changes under this full moon, changing our jobs, changing our routines and habits, changing our diet regime, changing our exercise regime, changing our schedules, changing our lifestyle. This is something that is needed, but changing it for the better, seeing our blind spots, seeing our weaknesses, recognizing our escapism modes and tools, recognizing that those triggers that push us into escapism and avoidance. And we are able to better organize ourselves, to organize our time, our mind and to become better in managing time. So we are facing ourselves definitely, and this is about digestion, as I said, Virgo digestion, and how do we digest the pain that we have swallowed. So as I said, instead of swallowing that pill, we have to swallow that pain and everything that is uncomfortable for us. Swallow that shadow, swallow that fear, swallow it, and see how do we digest that pain, that fear, that shadow. Purification and detoxification, healing, holistic healing. And we always have to be reminded of our imperfections so that we always have something to work on, to improve, to push for better, to improve it. So these imperfections are necessary, and we are freeing ourselves from those unhealthy pattern of toxicity and clutter, and move forward cleansed and purified in mind, body and spirit. So we are taking responsibilities for our duties. And it's about practicality, doing some practical work. It's about diligence, it's about solidarity, it's about physical health and physicality and physical exercises. We need physical exercise also to train not only our body but also our mind. We need it for the discipline, for the willingness, for improving our complete mechanism. And we need some tension. Without tension we cannot build muscles. We need some weight on our shoulders. Without that weight, we wouldn't have any muscle. We wouldn't be able to do anything, to carry anything. We have to carry some things. That's why we have hands, we have muscles. And this is on a physical level, of course, but we have all these things on a more subtle level too. So we have mental muscles, emotional muscles, and all those burdens are on all levels, so we have to carry them sometimes. And we cannot avoid growing pains. We shouldn't be afraid of the pain. Let's not reject it. The problem is when we reject it. And healing cannot happen without allowing pain to go through us. And we try to prevent ourselves from feeling pain, and this is how we cause it actually. This is how we repeat it. And when we want to forgive, because forgiveness is very much connected with that pain, and avoiding forgiveness is also avoiding confrontation with pain and with fears. So when we want to forgive, we may feel as if we are about to lose something. It's for some people think that this is a sign of weakness, but that's the illusion of perfectionist energy. Ashamed of everything that is not perfect, ashamed to admit that we've made mistakes. So this is where we have to see that attention is needed instead of tension. We have to build attention instead of tension. But of course we have to use this tension to understand that we need to change the focus, and this can ultimately be an incredible healing, and it helps to be reminded of what still needs our attention and our love. And as long as we are able to treat ourselves and others gently, with compassion, understanding and forgiveness and kindness, we are able to heal, we are able to forgive, we are able to walk through all obstacles. And this is also energy that reminds us that we shouldn't be focused on obstacles. We are most of the time focused on those obstacles. We are focused on issues. Our attention goes to those things that are wrong instead of focusing on the solution, on what we can do about it. So, of course, some wounds never heal completely, but they do change and transform with time and with considerable amount of inner work and conscious awareness. So transformation is actually much more important than getting rid of that pain. transformation of pain is actually the alchemy. And Virgo archetype is not only about hard work, persistence, endurance, task, responsibilities, service to others. It's not only about that. Virgo energy has much deeper and more profound meaning. It's the energy of shamanic healing. It's the energy of the priests and priestesses, of deep mystical healing, of alchemical healing, of transformation. And this is something that we can all do now. We can all reach that inner shaman within ourselves. We can all become our own inner healers. And this is very powerful. But what is needed for this? We have to create that balance between Pisces and Virgo, and we have to use both of these powerful energies in the most constructive way. So Pisces, spiritual energy, being able to tap into being rather than doing, being able to sit in silence, to be quiet, to be in nature, to retreat, to withdraw, to contemplate, to meditate, to heal ourselves, to understand, to have compassion, to to be intuitive. And Virgo, to do the work that needs to be done, to embody all that spiritual energy, to manifest our dreams, to put it into the body. And we all have parts of ourselves that we keep hidden away in the shadows, unseen and unloved and unknown. And those subconscious complexes and compulsions create a dissonance and complexities within our closest relationships. And we may see also those complex realities through our relationships. But this energies, this full moon is making a very beautiful trine, which is the most favorable aspect of 120 degrees with Jupiter, the great beneficent. Jupiter is in Taurus. So we can really see groundedness to its fullest. We can really tap into that groundedness. We can grow stability now. We can truly become much more stable and rooted in our bodies and in our spirituality. But really seeing through that, not falling into illusions, but we are breaking through many illusions. Many illusions will be broken down, and it can be uncomfortable for many because, illusions are what keeps us in our comfort zone. And when we have to face our illusions, it's not easy. We will find all kinds of excuses to justify our illusions, just to keep it, to keep that perspective the same. Like, don't distort my mirror. I have created this perfect for myself now. But we have to break the mirror sometimes, and to break those illusions, and to see through them. To see that, spirituality may not be what we thought it is. And of course, this is something that changes continuously as we grow as human beings. We change our perception, we change our beliefs, and we see that, some things we have to leave behind. They are outdated. They don't work for us anymore. And as we mature more and more, as we dive deeper into those layers of who we are, this is true spirituality, understanding ourselves, understanding the universe, understanding the laws, the cycles of nature, understanding ourselves in this life, feeling ourselves, just feeling ourselves, listening, hearing ourselves, knowing how to connect and how to communicate with ourselves. And it's not about how many books we read or how many spiritual practices we are doing, and are we, doing some extreme diets where we are cleansing ourselves. It's not about that. Of course, some of those things are very good, but if we go into extremes, if we become fanatic about it, because this trine with Jupiter can, bring some things to extremes and can frustrate us, can make us feel disappointed as well. But since this is trine and it's bringing some positive and harmonious energy, we are more able to ground ourselves, to feel stable, to feel self-worthy, to build that self-esteem, to become self-sufficient, and to cut some things that we have been doing until now that are not good and healthy for us. Because full moon is energy of completion and endings. You know, things are coming to a head, things are culminating. So if there is something that is not really good for us, it will come to light. And these are Virgo themes. So some habits and routines that we are doing that are not good for us will come to light, and we will be able to say goodbye to them. Or maybe work that we do, or our daily tasks and routines, or maybe if we are doing tasks and if we have obligations that are not our own, you know, we have to have some ownership here. Jupiter in Taurus, you know, owning my own things and owning my obligations, not taking too much on myself. You know, we do need, as I said, some tension to build those muscles, but if we take too much, you know, we cannot walk, we cannot carry it, so it's pointless. We are just going to crack. So it's very important to know the right measure and to do something healthy, to have enough rest, to have a good sleep, to do some gardening, to do healthy exercises, to eat quality food, to plant some vegetables, to clean the house, you know, to keep ourselves clean, to do detoxification, to work on our self-improvement, you know, these kinds of things. And, you know, the devil is in the details. That saying will be strongly expressed during this time too. Virgo is a very humble, modest, efficient, service-oriented, health-conscious sign that likes order and routine and loves to feel busy and useful. And it's the part of us that wants to do well. Although sometimes it can also mean that we are quite hard on ourselves. You know, we are seeking some kind of impossible perfection. Virgo likes to cleanse and purify. So this is an ideal opportunity to do just that. And, you know, to clear away any toxic or unhealthy relationships as well. And to make sure that we take care of ourselves and manage our stress levels in the best way that we can. And to become much more aware of the power of the mind that impacts our body. The ruler of this full moon is Mercury. Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury represents our mind, our mental agility, our intellect, our mental patterns and processes, our thoughts, our words, our communication. So Mercury is in Pisces right now, it's next to the Sun and Saturn, but their exact conjunction between Mercury, Saturn and the Sun in Pisces will happen on the 28th, and this full moon is happening on the 24th. So we may see some even stronger culmination around the 28th when these three make conjunction. And you know, we definitely have the courage to reveal or expose the parts of ourselves that we might usually be too shy or too ashamed to show. And you know, this energy will show us how we deal with anxiety and how we deal with stress, how we deal with problematic situations and issues. And it's about providing a grounding effect, and it's about taming that beastly energy, taming those beastly drives down into something more functional and useful, something that is, you know, ready for being of service. And this is continuous improvement, and this perfectionism, this tendency for perfectionism can often degenerate into hypercriticism. So there is a pressure for us that we are going to feel, pressure to get the job done, pressure to do the work, pressure to complete things at any cost, pressure to do this or that, pressure to be there for this person, for that person, pressure to complete everything that we have in 1 hour. And this can, turn into hyperactivity, hypercriticism, overloadness, and stress, too much stress, and need just to escape and to let it all disappear and dissolve, like I'm giving up, I'm leaving it all. So in order for this not to happen, because this is not the point of this energy, as I said, this is, about taking our time, being patient with ourselves, having understanding and compassion, forgiveness and empathy, and unconditional love. This is the Pisces archetype, unconditional love. And we have to see that what is rejected is projected. So what we reject, we project. And for example, we may be suppressing and rejecting anger, and then we can project a great amount of anger through our relationships with others. This is how this energy works. So can we let go? And can we let others grow on their own? Because there may be a feeling that if we are not around, that things won't work out as they should, that everything will fall apart if we are not there, if we are not doing the work that needs to be done. And like, as if we are not there, something bad will happen. That kind of thing for sure. That kind of anxiety is very strong nowadays. So there is a need to be useful, need to be recognized. And we can get lost easily in multitasking. And this multitasking is another extreme way of avoidance. Escaping through multitasking, escaping through becoming a workaholic. Or another way of escapism through Pisces, through not doing anything, just giving up on everything, not taking care of our bodies, not taking care of our mental and emotional health, not taking care of our health, of what we eat, of taking a shower, falling into that depression, or becoming delusional and moving into that spiritual bypassing escapism as well. So there are many, many different ways of escapism, of course. If I start talking about them all, it would take a couple of hours for sure. But you get the point of what I'm trying to say. So it's very important to know that we are improving ourselves step by step through little details. Little changes can make huge change. One small routine change can create a change on a bigger level. And we have to see if we are forcing things. Are we forcing to be of service? Are we forcing to be of help? Are we forcing, somebody else to do the job for us, for example? This can also be another manifestation of this energy. Either us trying to take on our shoulders everything and doing all kinds of things, or we may put our own obligations, tasks, and duties on somebody else's shoulders. So we have to really learn to discern. And, this is a lot about service, Virgo, and sacrifice, Pisces, service and sacrifice. And it's about healing and health, work and routine. And, this is about devotion. What are we ready to be devoted to, really, to be really committed to? Leaving the self behind to surrender to a higher order, Virgo and Pisces. There is this great sense of busyness. We may feel too busy, and this is when we want or need to be productive in order to feel better and to feel useful. And, this is a lot of... there are many reality checks and cracks of illusions. So we are going to be faced with those illusions and with path of escape or path of addiction. They will be very targeted, and some ugly details may be exposed during this time. and we are addressing those areas where we feel ashamed, where we have suppressed our true wants and needs, and where we have a need to be validated, and being of service, doing things for others just to be validated, to be needed. There is a need to be needed. Because this is another way of, getting attention. If we don't get attention, we will be of service, so this is how we will get some attention, because this is when we are needed. Or this can also be very much related to health and illness. Virgo and Pisces, health and healing. So we can get sick in order to get attention as well. Or we can get sick because we are working too much, because we are doing things that are not healthy for us, because of that need to be needed, to be of use, to be seen, to be understood, to be held, to be loved, to be recognized. It always comes from that part of us. It always comes from fear of separation, fear of losing ourselves, fear of losing something or someone. It's a fear runs this world. That's why we really have to step away from that energy and to focus on things that make us a true warriors. Chiron and the North Node are together in Aries, and this is very powerful warrior healing energy. We are healing that inner warrior within us, where we can just say goodbye to those patterns, to those destructive, limited, imprisoning patterns that keep us stuck in those repetitive loops, Virgo repetitive, where we are always trying to get validation from others, or where we pretend to be very strong and tough and like we can do everything on our own. We are workers, we are very persistent and endurance, and we are practical, we are responsible, we are always right on time, always doing everything that needs to be done. There is no mistake ever. All these things are results of deep complexes, and we are going to face a lot of them. And focusing on what's real, what's good, and what's healthy for us. Purge what is toxic. We are going to see what is toxic. And we should ask ourselves, what would happen if we would use the same amount of strength, willingness, devotion, desire, and discipline to gain spiritual wealth instead of material wealth, or instead of that validation from others? What if we put that same amount of effort, energy, and willingness and discipline into gaining inner strength, into gaining our own confirmation of who we are, into gaining our self-sufficiency that builds us in a true way, that makes us, be aware of vulnerability, and giving us, allowing us, where we allow ourselves to be vulnerable when we are vulnerable, and not feeling weak because of that. And when we have to be strong, being strong. And when we have to say, I cannot do it, I cannot do it. I have to take a day off. I have to take a break. I'm sorry I cannot do this for you today. I'm sorry I cannot do this right now. All these things we have to understand. How can we build a healthier environment through creating ourselves healthier? And we are going to see how anxiety creates physical issues, physical health issues. And these are, of course, manifestations of something emotional. It's always emotional cause. These physical health issues all have root cause in something that comes from the subtle realm, from emotional and mental plane. And then it's manifested on the physical. That's the last layer of manifestations in this concrete, dense physical reality. That's when the illness comes. That's when we break a bone. That's when we break something. That's when we scratch ourselves. That's when we have an incident. That's when we hurt ourselves physically. It's a consequence of something where we have neglected our own wants and needs, where we have neglected our inner voice. And this is what comes up. So we definitely have to take good care of ourselves and work on, those routine maintenance, healthy ones, and learn how to surrender and release. We have to, integrate the magical Pisces with the mundane. Like doing the dishes is not just a physical, repetitive tool. It can become a quiet opportunity to connect with the divine. We can find this in everything that we do, in brushing teeth, in taking a shower, in doing all those daily routines that we have to do, cleaning the house. All these things can become a channel for embodying the spiritual medicine for ourselves. And, working out is, no longer just something that we have to do for our body, but a routine practice to connect with our sacred breath. Learning to hear our breathing, understanding the breath, the fire that creates us, that maintains us, that gives breath to our organs, to our vital organs. So, focus on what can be done rather than, getting upset about what we cannot control. These are unconscious desires and impulses, and they can pull us away from being present. And, this Pisces energy can really wake up the master of escapism within us. But that's when self-mastery becomes triggered as well. So we have to have that polarity, master of illusion and master of who we are, master of the self. So we are going to see that as well. And we may see that we are trying too hard also, because this Piscean and Virgo energy can set some impossible goals. It can be too idealistic. So it's important to know this too. And we can create unnecessary stress because we are trying too hard to, reach some incredible, too high, too ideal goals and ambitions, and it's blocking our connection with that divine flow, where we just have to surrender and trust. Maybe if we could just relax, if we could feel our divine connection while we are here in physical reality. And what has been suppressed must be released sooner or later, and these things that are suppressed, they always come to the surface from time to time, every now and then. And there is cosmic assistance now, and we are receiving it. And this cosmic assistance is doing for us what we couldn't do for ourselves, and it is very strong now. And what we thought we wanted and needed is changing, and we are able to be grateful for this cosmic clearing out. And we are going to really feel that these polarities need each other. Pisces and Virgo. Pisces, dream world that relaxes us after a busy day at work. Busy day at work, Virgo, relaxing after a busy day at work, Pisces. And Pisces, connection with the infinite. And that is really a welcome relief from the practical world of everyday chaos. Everyday chaos. That's very much Virgo and Pisces. Everyday Virgo, chaos, Pisces. So we need to create a balance, to know how to deal with these energies, how to use them to our own advantage. Pisces can get lost in fantasies or addictions to try to escape worldly reality, and it indulges in wishful thinking to avoid responsibilities. And Virgo reminds Pisces of practical necessities of the physical world. And Virgo suggests, getting a job, offering a service to pay the rent and buy food. These kinds of things are also definitely necessary. And everyone is human being in its essence, and even the enlightened ones, they have emotional upsets and have to deal with anger and with fear and with sadness. This is what it means to be enlightened, to be able to deal with all those things. Even the illuminated ones have to take care of their bodies, to do the laundry and make the breakfast. All those things need to be made, need to be done. And we can examine how our worldly life supports our spiritual life, and how our spiritual path makes our daily tasks more meaningful. So we definitely have to accept that we are here to learn how to navigate this human trip, and to learn how to give ourselves a break from time to time. So let's not be so hard on ourselves and also on others. This is about celebrating this healing energy with a good cleansing, with a good workout, with a good exercise regime, with a good healing practice, and getting rid of those layers of judgment, guilt, and shames by facing them, not avoiding them. And this Virgo archetype is on the quest to experience wholeness. So Virgo is on the quest to reach that Piscean extreme, to reach that unity and wholeness. And Pisces is on the quest to reach and experience the embodiment of the divine, the embodiment of the spirit in the body. So it's really time to heal. It's time to sit with our pain, sit with our trauma and heartache, and give ourselves love and compassion. So Virgo is the sign of goddess, and perfect unto herself. And this archetype carries many gifts, but the most important one is the power to heal. And it may bring up many emotions that were not processed, especially that were not processed that first time when they were felt, and forever from that time we keep suppressing them and avoiding them. So sit with these feelings and know that we don't have to be perfect to be loved. Let's just remember this again. We don't have to be perfect to be loved. We don't have to do everything in order to be validated and loved. We don't have to do all kinds of things for others, but also we don't have to behave in another extreme where we are in the place of an authority, playing the persecutor, victim and the persecutor. These are two archetypes that always intertwine. So let's recognize when these roles are triggered in our everyday life. So life doesn't need to be perfect, it really doesn't. And most importantly, we don't need to make perfect decisions all the time. So when we hold anger or resentment towards ourselves or others, we definitely block our ability to see clearly and to heal. So it takes away our ability to feel and express gratitude. So we have to ask ourselves what we need to forgive. And forgiving, as I said someone else, it doesn't mean that we have to let this person back into our life. We forgive other people for ourselves, not for them. Forgiveness is about you and your vibration and no one else's. So this is something that is also learned now. And we are always aligned with the path that is meant for us. This is also another lesson of this energy. Even if we don't like it at times, we are always aligned with the path that is meant for us. And when we try to control the outcome of every situation that life presents, we undoubtedly fall during that time. And life isn't meant to be controlled, it's meant to be lived. It's not meant to be perfect or to follow some schedule, It's messy, chaotic, and beautiful, just as we are. And that's something that we have to accept. There's nothing wrong with it. And it shows us our greatest strengths in our darkest times. and it gives us our greatest gifts in the most unexpected ways. Yes, of course we make mistakes, and of course we make wrong decisions, and we may fall many, many times before we succeed, but mistakes are part of the process. That's all part of the journey, part of life, and the process is different for everyone. Each of us is living our own karmic path, and that path includes many twists and turns. We are given lessons when we need them the most, and we are given heartaches to strengthen us as well. And some of this path we can control, but some of it is simply the journey of our energy, which unfolds to its own rhythm, to its own accord, no matter what we consciously do. So there are some things that definitely unfold without our, no matter what we do, it will happen the way it has to happen. And these are the things that we definitely have to accept. And both Pisces and Virgo teach us the fine balance between doing and being. And both of these signs are great healers, and Virgo helps us heal by reminding us to release our perfectionism and to feel our self-worth. And Pisces, on the other hand, helps us heal by reminding us that we are infinite beings connected to the divine beauty of the universe. And both of these signs teach us to trust ourselves and our knowledge, and to surrender to the path of our higher self. And we definitely need days with when we are free to follow the wanderings of our minds, to just get lost in our daydreams. And this is something that we also have to allow ourselves sometimes. And Pisces encourages us to just be and allow, and Virgo encourages us to do, and to do it well, to act on it. And we may receive something we did not ask for, but that is exactly what we need now. And this will be very, very powerful for us. And there is a very powerful synchronicity. There is synchronicity that is very heightened during this time, and if we are there, if we are present, if we are willing to face all that I just talked about, we are going to recognize so many synchronicities, and we are going to see that wherever we go, we are going to find teachers. Wherever we go, we will find the teacher. He or she or it's always there. Teacher is always there. And there is a great quote that I found recently, but it's unknown author, and it says, "You cannot see your reflection in boiling water. Similarly, you cannot see the truth in a state of anger. When the water comes, clarity comes." And with this, I would end this astrology forecast, and I wish you a very happy full moon in Virgo. And let's try to apply some of these things and some of the spiritual practices where we allow ourselves to heal and to feel. I love you all, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.